The place no one told you about, 13. Black towns, silently reviving the American dream. You think living in America means choosing between glamorous cities and silent prejudice? You're wrong. There are towns where black people aren't just welcome. They are the soul of the community. No fame, no promotion, not featured on any best places to live list. But that's exactly where you can truly live. And no, this isn't a fairy tale. This isn't a dream. This is a silent revival, and the 13 towns below are the most vivid proof of something America keeps trying to ignore. Black people aren't fleeing this country. They're quietly rebuilding it in their own way. Idlewild, Michigan. Reviving a Black Dream. Idlewild was once a destination for thousands of black people during segregation, when they weren't welcome at other resorts. It became a paradise, a land where black folks could own homes, run hotels, perform art, and live freely without having to ask for permission. Today, Idlewild isn't as vibrant as it once was, but it never truly faded. The old wooden cabins along the lake are still there, many on sale for just $30,000 to $50,000. One person bought an old cabin for only $15,000, fixed it up, and turned it into a cozy homestay, both a home and a place for visitors to reconnect with history. Renting a home in Idlewild currently costs only $500, $700 per month, less than half of what it would be in any major city. Buy fresh food at the local farmer's market, plant a few rows of vegetables in the backyard, and you can comfortably live on just $1,200 a month for an entire small family. But what keeps people here isn't just the low prices. It's the feeling of being part of something bigger, a community that was once a symbol of hope and the longing for freedom. The Idlewild Festival still happens in the summer, with outdoor concerts, community gatherings, and old stories retold around a campfire. In Idlewild, the past isn't forgotten. It's lived through each new generation. If you've ever felt tired of proving you belong in society, if you've ever longed for a place to truly call home, Idlewild might be the place you should visit. And who knows, you might not want to leave. How about you? If given the chance, would you return to a place built solely for the freedom of your own people? Natchez, Mississippi. From wound to homeland. Natchez was once the starting point of too much pain. On this land, black people were once sold like cattle, their chained feet dragged across damp bricks. Tears fell here, uncaught, unrecorded. But then the unexpected happened. History wasn't forgotten. It's being reborn. Today, the descendants of those once oppressed are returning to Natchez, not for revenge, but to rebuild what was stolen: pride, memory, and community. They use street art to tell stories. They hold memorial festivals to keep the flame alive. They build small museums where black people can see their ancestors not just as victims, but as proud survivors. Natchez doesn't try to forget the past. On the contrary, they face it. They turn ruins into foundations. They rewrite history in their own voices. Housing is still cheap here, and over 60% of the residents are black. But that number alone doesn't say enough. What matters more is the feeling that you're living in a place that understands you, accepts you, and moves forward with you. Natchez isn't a perfect town, but if you carry a wound carved by history, this might be the place that helps you heal. A new home, growing from the old ground. Mound, Bayou, Mississippi, where black people wrote their own dream. Do you believe that amid the years full of injustice, a town existed, built entirely by black hands, willpower, and dreams? That's Mound, Bayou, Mississippi, founded in 1887, not by policy or aid, but by belief that black people could be self-reliant, autonomous, and live a dignified life. Here, you won't find lavish mansions. What you will find are simple homes, open land, and a tight-knit community like one big family. People in Mound Bayou don't just share meals, they share a belief that they don't need to wait for rescue. They are the ones who create change. An elderly woman who lived here once said, "Back then, we had nothing but each other. But that's why we had everything: love, unity, and pride." Mound Bayou isn't just a town. It's living proof that in the hardest times, if a community holds hands, they can build an entire future. If you've ever doubted the power of unity and the yearning for freedom, let Mound Bayou answer with its own history. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find a piece of your own dream in this place once thought forgotten. Goldsboro, North Carolina, where young people are given wings. There are places not found on best cities to live in lists from magazines, but they are etched deeply in the hearts of those who have set foot there. Goldsboro is one such place. Located in eastern North Carolina, Goldsboro isn't flashy, but with nearly 50% of its population being black, this small town is becoming a safe haven for families wanting to raise children in a community that cares and lifts each other up. The average home price is around $175,000, many with 3 bedrooms and backyards, and a down payment of just $20,000, $30,000 can get you a place to live without being crushed by a 6-figure mortgage like in big cities. Renting? You only need $700 to $900 a month, enough for a family to live comfortably. The cost of living here is also significantly lower, just about $1,200 a month for a family of 4, including food, utilities, internet, and gas. You can buy fresh vegetables, eggs, and raw milk at the farmer's market, all grown and raised by local residents. But what truly makes Goldsboro special isn't the numbers, it's the real stories. A father who once moved here shared, "I wasn't just looking for a roof. I was looking for a place where my child could grow up without having to bow their head." Goldsboro gave us that. In a world that's getting more expensive and colder, Goldsboro proves that there are still towns where community doesn't just survive, but grows together. If you're looking for a place not just to live, but to build a future, try listening to the gentle heartbeat of Goldsboro. Tuskegee, Alabama, where legacy becomes the foundation of the future. The place no one told you about 13. Black towns silently reviving the American dream. Tuskegee is more than just the name of a town. It's a symbol of intelligence, courage, and black pride. This is where Booker T. Washington laid the first brick of the prestigious Tuskegee University, the hometown of George Washington Carver, who turned peanuts into an agricultural revolution, the birthplace of the Tuskegee Airmen, America's first black pilots who soared through prejudice and made history. But Tuskegee doesn't live in the past. This place continues the dream, through a historic university that remains open to new generations, through tree-lined streets where elders greet each other every morning, and through a quiet peace you won't find in big cities. A former Tuskegee student once said, "Here, I didn't just learn to read and write. I learned how to live with pride. Not because I'm black, but because I carry a tradition that never backs down." If you're looking for a place that's both peaceful and full of value, where your child can grow up surrounded by stories of self-reliance and brilliance, then Tuskegee isn't just a choice, it's an invitation to return to your roots and start anew in the very place that once lit the path for an entire generation. Hillside, New Jersey, close to the city, but keeps its small-town soul. Just under an hour's drive from New York City, Hillside offers something few places can: a connection to the country's largest economic center, while still preserving the quiet, familiar air of a small town where everyone knows your name. What makes Hillside special isn't just location, it's voice. Black residents here aren't just present, they represent. They're part of city councils, community development programs, and educational policy decisions. When you live in Hillside, you don't have to shout to be heard, because here, your voice matters. Good schools, lots of extracurriculars, and an active, tight-knit community. Neighborhood meetings, cultural festivals, weekend fairs are not just events, they're how Hillside keeps the rhythm of its heart, a multicolored community with a shared beat. A mother of 3 once shared, "We wanted our kids to grow up in a place with opportunities, but also support. Hillside gave us both." Hillside isn't glamorous, but that's exactly why it's the ideal place for anyone seeking balance between growth and peace, between representation and unity, between living well and living right. Bastrop, Texas. Quiet but radiant. Just a short drive from Austin, Bastrop is like a quiet neighbor, not crowded, not flashy, but with a character all its own. When big cities get too expensive, too loud, too easy to lose yourself, Bastrop offers a necessary pause, close enough to connect, far enough to breathe. Here, Black people aren't just residents. They set the rhythm of life. Black-owned coffee shops, artisan workshops, small galleries, and family-run eateries don't just sell products, they express a spirit, creative, proud, and unapologetically present. Bastrop's beauty is natural. Pine forests, the Colorado River winding through town, rustic roads where adults walk children hand in hand each evening. But more beautiful is the spirit it nurtures. Here, you can live slowly, create freely, and own your life on your terms. An artist who moved here once said, "I didn't choose Bastrop just for the cheap homes. I chose it because it lets me freely do what I love, among people who don't need you to be like them, just to be real." If you're looking for a place to escape the grind of the big city, without giving up quality of life, then Bastrop is a soft, inspiring, and deeply belongable place to land. Selma, Alabama, where every step carries history. Selma needs no lengthy introduction. Just hearing the name brings to mind the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where brave Black Americans once shed blood to win the right to vote. Selma is the heart of the American Civil Rights Movement. And though decades have passed, the fire from those historic marches has never gone out. Today, Selma is not just a historic site. It is a vibrant community, where people still preserve the spirit of resistance, unity, and pride in the past. Conversations at diners, gatherings at churches, or small classrooms for the younger generation. All of them carry an unbroken thread between history and the present. The people of Selma do not live in nostalgia. They live in continuation. They retell their grandparents' stories, not to complain, but to reignite the spirit to rise, to keep walking a path still unfinished. An 85-year-old woman who once joined Bloody Sunday said softly, "We didn't fight to become legends. We just didn't want our grandchildren to walk that same road again." Selma is not for those looking for artificial calm. It is for those who honor memory and who want to live in a community that still holds the essence of pride, of sacrifice, and of an unshakable belief in the future. Camden, South Carolina, where you can breathe and live at your own pace. If you're exhausted by jam-packed streets, jobs that leave no time for family, and neighborhoods where neighbors don't know each other's names, then Camden may be the gentle answer you've been looking for. Located near the state capital of Columbia, but still peaceful, Camden is like a pause, a place where you can slow down without falling behind. With low living costs, clean air, towering trees, and neighbors always ready to help, it's the ideal choice for those seeking not just a house, but a home to raise children in a kind and caring environment. In Camden, kids still play in yards, adults still greet each other in the mornings, and the Black community, though not the overwhelming majority, is respected, heard, and helping shape the unique spirit of this town. A mother who moved here from the city once said, "I wasn't just looking for safety, I wanted my child to grow up in a community that loves and protects each other, and I found that in Camden. Camden doesn't promise glitz, but offers something more precious. A peaceful, decent, and full life, where you can start over, love again, and believe in community once more. Scotland Neck, North Carolina, small but ambitious. With only about 2,000 residents, Scotland Neck could easily be forgotten on the map of America. But don't let the small number fool you. This place is quietly becoming one of the most promising new beginnings for the Black community. Home prices are unbelievably low. Many properties go for just tens of thousands of dollars, enough for a young family to own land, open a business, or simply start over, without being weighed down by crushing debt. But even more valuable is the spirit coming alive here, a wave of Black-led entrepreneurship, from restaurants and convenience stores to local craft workshops. In Scotland Neck, people don't wait for opportunity. They create it. There's no need to be in a big city to prove your worth. Right here, in a small town, you can start a new chapter, where you're not swallowed by urban chaos, but uplifted by a community rising together. A coffee shop owner from Atlanta shared after moving here, "I don't have to go big to be seen. In Scotland Neck, I just have to be myself, and that's enough." If you're looking for a place that's both quiet to live and full of potential to build something of your own, then Scotland Neck isn't just a destination. It could be the beginning of your entire journey to freedom. Prairie View, Texas, where knowledge plants the seeds of hope. Prairie View isn't a crowded town, but it holds an energy few places can match: youth, intellect, and the drive to rise. At the center of the town is Prairie View A&M University, one of the oldest and most prestigious historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, in the country. Each school year, thousands of Black students flock here, bringing dreams, talent, and ambition. The academic spirit spreads throughout the town, from small cafes where students gather to community projects led by young people eager to create change. Prairie View isn't just a place to study. It's where the next generation of Black leadership is being nurtured. Though small in size, the town holds big potential. Thanks to the momentum from the university, the spirit of entrepreneurship, and the bond between locals and the youth studying here. A longtime professor at PVAMU once said, "At Prairie View, you don't just teach, you learn, dream, and rebuild a better future for everyone together." If you're looking for a place with a peaceful pace of life, a vibrant academic community, and clear paths to growth, Prairie View isn't where you stop, it's where you start. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Waking up after a long sleep. Pine Bluff was once known as a town mired in hardship, but today it's slowly turning a corner. And the most remarkable part? The Black community, making up nearly 75% of the population, is the biggest force behind that change. Amid reinvestment in infrastructure, roads are being repaired, schools are improving, and public spaces are being revived. But most importantly, Pine Bluff is placing its trust in the locals, especially Black-owned businesses. From hair salons and eateries to small neighborhood shops, everything is being energized through funding programs, skill training, and startup support. In Pine Bluff, you won't find glitz, but you'll find effort, little by little, every day. People here aren't waiting for miracles. They're starting from where they are, rebuilding, restoring, preserving, and passing down a better community to the next generation. A small business owner put it simply, "We're not leaving because this place is worth fighting for and rebuilding." Pine Bluff is not a closed chapter. It's one still being written by the hands of those who refuse to give up. If you're looking for a place to build together rather than just seek ready-made stability, then Pine Bluff is an honest and heartfelt invitation. Orangeburg, South Carolina, where legacy meets the present. Orangeburg isn't just a small town in South Carolina. It's a historic beacon where the spirit of the civil rights struggle still lingers on every street corner. It's home to 2 HBCUs, South Carolina State University and Claflin University, the birthplaces of generations of talented and courageous Black leaders. But Orangeburg doesn't only look to the past. It has a deeply connected community, where people call each other by name, where students, teachers, and residents live in harmony, coming together for cultural festivals, remembrance days, and community gatherings. You can feel the warmth and unity not just in big events, but in the small, everyday gestures. A smile, a kind question, a sincere handshake. The cost of living here remains very low. Housing, food, and services are all affordable, but the greatest value Orangeburg offers isn't measured in dollars, but in the feeling of belonging. A place where you don't need to prove your worth, because it was already made for you. A former student who returned to settle here said, "I came back not just for the memories, but because I want to live in a place that understands the value of the past and builds the future with me." If you're looking for a community with intellect, cultural depth, and a history to be proud of, Orangeburg is the place you can truly call home. A young artist who left the city to build a studio here once said, "I wasn't just looking for a quiet place to create. I was looking for a place with a soul, and I found it in Helena, West Helena." If you've ever longed for a place to live more deeply, more slowly, and more honestly, a place where the past isn't forgotten but honored, then this Mississippi River town might just be the place you should call home. The Place No One Told You About 13. Black Towns, Silently Reviving the American Dream, is not just a title, but a reminder that freedom, pride, and the spirit of rebuilding are still burning quietly in places no one notices. These small towns don't promise flash or fame, but offer something far greater: the chance to live authentically, among a community that understands and uplifts you. If you found these stories worth reflecting on, hit subscribe so you won't miss other rebirth journeys quietly unfolding across America. This video is for inspiration and reference only. Any decision regarding relocation or investment should be carefully considered based on real information and personal needs.